Um, Good day. My name is Solomon Iwerzer, student of Aspirin University. I've been doing this assignment for Introduction to Communication 100 SPC 2300. Um, my lecturer's name is Professor Joise, and I'll be talking about avoiding plagiarism in the paper. Avoiding plagiarism in our paper. Plagiarism is becoming more prevalent um, in the scientific community and learning institutions. Uber et al. 2012. As a result, it is vital for students and scholars. It is vital for students and scholars to understand how to prevent plagiarism. This paper first addresses the meaning, forms, and causes of plagiarism before stopping it. Replication or using someone's vocabularies or concepts may be a less disrespectful way of describing plagiarism. These two words, however, can convey the impression that plagiarism is not a serious offense. However, plagiarism is considered a fraud, whether it is done on purpose or not. Um, Plagiarism is an immoral technique of copying another of copying another writer's work, and it is considered a primary scholarly offense. Today's environment offers platforms such as the internet that make it simple to locate content and aids in research material. Hussein et al. 2017. However, as appealing as it might sound, authors' lack of attention to create original work leads to plagiarism. It may be intended. It may be intended, such as when an author copies someone else's work, word for word without attribution, or it may be unintentional, such as when an author paraphrases someone else's work using identical sentence form without attribution. Um, when writing an analytical article, it is often an expansion of another works of another works by drawing facts and data from various sources. It is of importance that every reference is appropriately referenced. That every reference is appropriately referenced. This is based on whether intended or not. And plagiarism is an offense with enough magnitude to destroy a writer's reputation. Why different styles demand different format styles, according to Uber et al. 2012, suggest five simple rules that can act as guidelines toward avoiding plagiarism when followed meticulously. The first and most fundamental rule demands originality. According to Uber et al., copying what is found in other people's job, novels, or even your writing is not a brilliant idea. If you must do it, do so correctly by copying it with quotation marks and citing it appropriately. Furthermore, careful time control is necessary so that you have significant time to correctly cite your sources. The second rule requires one to use their vocabulary while writing. While paraphrasing, it's a good way of putting someone else's thought into your language. It is critical that the writer be careful as modifying and rearranging the original sentence is still regarded as copying. Therefore, while paraphrasing, it is recommended as a way to prevent plagiarism. It must it must easier to avoid it is much easier to avoid paraphrasing and instead use your own unique speech. According to Uber et al. 2012, you should always cite whatever possible. You should always cite whatever possible. This is one of the methods of avoiding plagiarism. It should, however, not be applied too often, as it can water down the whole research material. The work may end up with excessive citations and equally lack a personal perspectives. If this were to occur, the most reasonable thing to do would be to rewrite the paper. Additionally, one must not reuse photographs, graphs, charts, or text from a previous published paper without referencing the source. When you re- when you repo- when you republish a figure from an earlier source but do not quote the original, it is considered self-plagiarism. Therefore, it is essential to keep a record of your resources for purpose of the proper citation in such a situation. Um, the last rule demands that permission be sought if possible. If you choose to use previously published statistics, chart, or other data created or compiled by someone who is not a co-author of the paper, you must first get the permission and credit them. It also applies when you use the data to build your figure or graph. When you use the data to build your figure or graph. For each public figure, chart, or image you wish to publish, obtain copyright approval. Additionally, as an extra layer of protection against plagiarism, you could use dedicated plagiarism tools such as Turnitin before uploading your work. This allows you to digitally review the quality of your work against all online content, as well as everything registered inside the software database. You will also produce a chart that tells you the percentage and type of plagiarism in your work. And if the numbers are too high, you can face these questions before submitting your work. Why this is just a precaution against digital content, it does provide an extra layer of protection before uploading your work, and it ensures that you have not unwittingly plagiarized the work of other writers. Should Whereas many rules govern how to avoid plagiarism should, there are instances where information may not need citation. When ideas are found in a variety of places, they are referred to as common knowledge. They are also dependent on the audience. For example, this could be common knowledge to one audience but not to another. You do not need to quote the assertion if you are paraphrasing common knowledge. When deciding if an argument is a common knowledge, always remember the meaning and the audience you are writing about. Unintentional plagiarism can occur when you use a sentence without a reference you believe it is a common knowledge. In conclusion, plagiarism is a disease in today's science and an indicator of pseudoscience. Its identification and mitigation methods necessitate a holistic response from all scientific partners. It is ineffective to rely on a single anti-plagiarism mechanism, according to Gasparian et al. 2017. Plagiarists may use manipulative paraphrasing and editing methods to deceive even powerful anti-plagiarism softwares, which is programmed to detect textual overlaps and measure resemblance ratings. Therefore, writing with integrity is a virtue that every scholar should have. I repeat, writing with integrity is a virtue that every scholar should have. Thanks for listening. I believe my little little video will be able to convince you to stay positive and to avoid plagiarism.